Have you ever scrolled through Instagram and seen a video like this?
Stop saying very.
Or what about a post like this? Today, we're going to dive in to the unregulated Wild West of English education on Instagram and TikTok. We all know that we can't really trust what's posted on social media because anybody is free to post whatever they want without any qualifications, whether that's financial advice, health and fitness advice, or even English education. So many people with zero teaching qualifications love to post completely outlandish and often false content because it's a really easy way to gain a lot of followers, promote their own sketchy companies, or even promote other sketchy companies that are sometimes completely unrelated to English education. I'll show you an example of this later. It's pretty weird. Now, I'm not saying that you must be a native English speaker to be able to teach English. In fact, there are a lot of native English speakers that should not be teaching English. But just because somebody studied how to speak English in the past, or maybe just knows how to speak English, that does not mean that they're qualified to teach English. So, without further ado, let's take a look at some awful English education Instagram posts with a few good ones sprinkled throughout and discuss why they suck. So this first post that we're going to take a look at is titled Useful Idioms in English. But are they actually useful?
Useful idioms in English. I'm very busy. I've got a lot on my plate.
That one is totally fine. In fact, I discussed this idiom in my most recent study session video. So that's okay.
She's very energetic. She's full of beans.
First things first, she pronounced beans incorrectly. It's beans, not bins. Her energetic pronunciation was also a little off. But most importantly, no one says she's full of beans. Maybe in the past, like with my grandparents' generation, they said full of beans, but that's not an idiomatic phrase that anyone uses.
Don't eat too much. I eat like a bird.
That one is sometimes used, but I don't know, it's not that common. Most people just say, I don't eat very much, or they don't eat very much. You don't need to use the idiom for it.
I'm so relaxed. I'm as cool as a cucumber.
No, not very many people use that. Also, that's not really accurate. So the phrase I'm relaxed usually makes you think of watching TV, curled up on the sofa or in bed, that kind of relaxed. You cannot use I'm as cool as a cucumber for that kind of physical relaxation. The phrase, I'm as cool as a cucumber, is more so when you're not stressed out. But it's usually used in a very sarcastic way. So, honestly, if you tell someone, oh yeah, I'm as cool as a cucumber, inside, you're actually probably stressed out. You're just trying to hide it. But again, not many people actually use this phrase anymore.
She's very intelligent. She's a smart cookie.
This one, yeah, it's used, but it's starting to become a little bit more old-fashioned. Like my mom's generation uses this phrase, maybe the generation below her, but I don't know if I've heard any millennials or Gen Z use smart cookie. I think most people just say smart, intelligent, clever. So this is also a little bit outdated.
He cannot be trusted. He's a bad egg.
Another note about English idioms is you should not try to use them as much as possible. If you try to insert them or force them into your conversations, it sounds very unnatural. Native English speakers don't use these kinds of idioms all the time. Maybe one or two in a conversation, but it would be really weird if you were speaking with someone and they used all of these idioms in just one chit chat. So it's definitely good to know what these mean. If you hear them in a TV show, read them in a book, whatever, but you don't have to use them. So these kinds of pronunciation posts are quite common, and most of the time, the information on them is pretty helpful. So on this one, I really like how it's showing the accurate pronunciation of the word bowl, because a lot of people will say bowel, and that's a completely different word. So the other ones on here, demon, I don't think that's frequently mispronounced, but whatever. Here's some extra help if you need it. Women is also quite often mispronounced, so it's nice that they're putting the correct pronunciation. Wednesday, this is a weird one. Why do we skip this entire middle syllable? I don't know, but this is showing how native English speakers pronounce it. Receipt, here's another good one because there's a P, but it's silent. Don't ask me why. And cabin, similar to demon, I don't know who is mispronouncing this, but hey, now you know. And with basically, I like how they show that you'll actually cut out the A sound and pretty much take out that additional syllable. This will go for all words that end in C-A-L-L-Y. I usually like to tell my students that it's a K-L-E-E sound, klee. They did it a little bit differently, but it's basically the same thing. So I have seen a few of these pronunciation posts that are a little bit off, but for the most part, they're fine. Now let's take a look at some of these IELTS vocabulary posts. They will often teach very complicated vocabulary, and they tout it as being extremely important to know for the IELTS exam. But that's not entirely true. I have quite a few colleagues that are IELTS specific teachers, and I've asked them about some of this vocab, and they've said, no, you don't need it for the IELTS exam. Now, is it good to know for the GRE, which is a grad school admissions essay? Yeah, it is. But you don't need to know all of these for the IELTS. So let's take a look at these. The regular English, we don't talk anymore, versus IELTS English, you and I no longer engage in verbal confabulations. No, you don't need to use the word confabulations. You probably shouldn't use that. And then New York has many restaurants. New York has a reputation of its dining establishments. This one is fine. It's not weird and it's not too complex. Look What You Made Me Do, one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, versus Observe What Course of Action You Compelled Me to Commit to. No, definitely not. In conclusion, in light of this evidence, it is crystal clear that in light of this evidence, that's fine. It is crystal clear that saying crystal clear is not very formal. So it's a little bit strange to use it with this more formal introduction of in light of this evidence. So these are two phrases that I would not put together. Also, in light of this evidence, that's only appropriate to be used when you're trying to argue or prove something, whereas in conclusion doesn't have to be for an argument. So these are not direct synonyms, and these two phrases don't really fit together. So I just want you to really keep in mind that English that's used for English exams is not necessarily what native English speakers use in daily conversation, nor is it what you should probably use in daily conversation. And this video illustrates that quite well. Let's watch.
Gigantic, enormous, colossal, very big, superb, splendid, terrific, very good.
Yeah, I must say it's pretty weird for people to say superb or splendid when you're just chatting with them. It's not very natural. It's really nice to use in literature or writing, but awkward if you say superb or splendid on a daily basis.
Detrimental.
I do like the word detrimental, though. I do use that frequently.
Wretched. Very bad. What? Goodbye.
So while it's excellent and quite important to know these words if you're preparing for an English exam or preparing for university, grad school, whatever, it's also imperative to know when you should and shouldn't be using these words. So if you're having a casual convo with your friends, it's quite weird to use a lot of this really advanced vocabulary. In fact, it will make you sound less like a native English speaker because it actually shows that you maybe don't have the cultural understanding of what is used more on a daily basis. So remember, more advanced vocabulary doesn't necessarily mean better vocabulary. I also discussed this same point in my most recent Cami Critiques video when I was comparing ChatGPT writing to a student's writing and discussing which one was more human-like. Another kind of post that I want to discuss is these ones that say normal versus advanced. Personally, I would define advanced as some of those words that we saw in the IELTS related posts, that really formal advanced vocabulary. But oftentimes these normal versus advanced posts are not advanced. They really showcase more natural or daily conversation words or phrases, but they aren't necessarily better. They're just different. So let's take a look at some of these.
I feel sad. I feel blue.
So first of all, what's up with the weird AI voice? Why can't we just listen to her voice? That voice just gives me the ick. Secondly, no one says I feel blue. That's weird and quite old-fashioned.
My mistake. My bad.
So this is just really casual. I would not recommend saying my bad to your boss or to a teacher. My mistake is probably better to use. But my bad is totally fine with your friends. Is it advanced? Absolutely not.
I'll pay the bill. It's on me.
That's fine. But it's on me is just I'll pay. There isn't always a bill for something. So it's on me is more similar to like my treat. I'll pay for it, whatever it is.
I made a mistake. I screwed up.
That's fine. Is it advanced? No. Is it casual? Yes. Very casual.
I understand you. I feel you.
Super casual. Again, I would not classify that as advanced.
I have no money. I'm broke.
Casual.
I like you. I'm into you.
This is one that I see all the time, and there is some serious nuance to the phrase, I like you. So, I like you can be used in a romantic way, or it can also be used to imply you like someone as a friend, or you think they're cool, whatever, or you respect them. However, I'm into you can only be used when you want to tell someone that you like them romantically. You want to date them. You want to have that kind of relationship with them. You can't use that with friends. That's inappropriate. Unless you want a romantic relationship with your friend. But that's a different situation.
I'm very tired. I'm beat.
That's fine. Super casual.
Text me. Hit me up.
Hit me up isn't just texting. Hit me up can be phone call, email, whatever. It just means contact me somehow. It could even mean stop by my work or stop by my house and say hi. It's just any kind of conversation. That's it. It doesn't have to be texting. This is another kind of post that really grinds my gears. These stop saying posts, because they are always telling you to stop saying something that's completely normal to say. Like this says, stop asking, how are you? Everyone says, how are you? It's not something that you need to stop doing. You can say, how are you? That phrase is completely normal. So let's look at some of the questions that she recommends instead.
Stop always asking, how are you? Here are other ways to ask. How's life treating you?
This question is fine, but it's more appropriate to use for people that you're very close with. So close friends, close family. It's a little bit too deep to ask the grocery store clerk.
How are things?
That's fine as well. How are things? But again, that's something that's more appropriate to ask your family or friends. It's still quite casual, but it implies that you already have some kind of background knowledge about their life. You wouldn't ask this to a person at the store, but you could ask someone at the store, "How are you?" So there is some nuance.
What's new?
What's new is also only for people that you know and that you're familiar with. You can't ask someone on the bus what's new because you don't know their life. That would be weird.
How's your day been?
This is fine. You can ask that to anyone.
What's up?
Super casual, but it's fine.
How's it going?
How's it going is also fine to ask anyone, whether you know them or not.
How's everything?
This is another one that's more appropriate to ask someone that you already know. Maybe not someone that you have just met. So keep that in mind. You cannot use all of these phrases interchangeably. So to be completely transparent, about a year ago, this company actually approached me and wanted to offer me a job and become a tutor on their platform. And I was really close to joining, but there were two main reasons why I didn't. First of all, they were not very transparent about the compensation that they would provide me. And they had led me to believe that I could get paid a certain amount. But then when it came time to actually make that final decision, they suddenly offered me much less than what I had asked for and much less than what the other teachers on that same platform were teaching. So that was a little bit sketchy. But the thing that really helped seal the deal for me with not joining their company was these kinds of posts. These don't say posts really just kill confidence for students. And I believe as an English teacher, we should be trying to build up students' confidence and make them feel better about their English skills. A lot of English companies like to take this predatory approach, and instead of building people up and making them feel good, they try to show them, you don't know enough, so you need us. You need to take lessons with us because look at all of these things that you don't know. And to me, that's icky. I don't like that kind of confidence killing strategy that companies like to use to get clients. I don't want anyone to come to me because I made them feel bad. I want someone to come to me for help because they know that I can help build their confidence in themselves, not because I initially made them feel inadequate. That's not nice. So let's look at another English teacher that I have worked with and that I never will again. And we'll discuss why. There are a few key things that I want to point out in the first few minutes of this Instagram live that he did.
I hope that you're tuning in. I hope that you're ready to learn. And
I don't know what he said. I hope that you're tuning in. That's, I think he meant tuning in. Maybe be careful getting pronunciation tips from him.
practice your English with me. You're going to learn new vocabulary as usual. Listen to my pronunciation too if you want to learn how to speak with an American accent.
He does not have an American accent. And here is why.
Here's a fun fact about me if you didn't know. I am Bolivian. My parents are Bolivian. I was raised in Sweden, and I have never lived in an English-speaking country.
He's never lived in an English-speaking country, but he is promoting himself to teach American English pronunciation. He can talk about teaching pronunciation, even though his is not perfect. I don't think he should be teaching pronunciation lessons. But he should not be telling students, I will teach you American English pronunciation. I'll help you sound just like an American native English speaker. Because he doesn't sound like one. And he doesn't even have the experience other than watching TV shows or whatever. But he should not be claiming to students that he is qualified to teach specific American pronunciation when, God, he doesn't even have any experience living in those countries. And he does not have the best pronunciation.
Never lived in the United States. I have never lived in England, never lived in Australia, but I speak with an American accent. Listen to my R's. Red, the red car is ready. All right.
Just knowing your R's does not make you sound like a native American English speaker.
Listen to my sound. I am a man and I have a plan. Do you understand? And the way that I speak is because I listen to people and I try to imitate.
Now, that point is good. The best way to work on your pronunciation is to do that kind of mirroring practice. Listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. I have multiple videos with this kind of specific pronunciation practice. But just because you do this kind of practice, and again, just because you know how to speak English, that does not make you qualified to teach a certain part of English like pronunciation. Now let's move on to something that these really big English pages will often do that is just super weird. Let's take a look at this. We're actually not going to focus on the content. What is this icon for? Have you figured it out yet? Let's go onto their page and see what it is. Oh, here's a link for it. What is this for? Is it related to English? I don't know. It's a gambling website. Why is an English page promoting a sports gambling website? What the hell? That has nothing to do with English. So these pages just promote so much sketchy shit. And I've actually done a lot of research into these kinds of pages and who runs them. So if you want me to expose their secrets, comment below and I can show you the interesting things that I found out about a lot of these big pages. So again, comment if you want to see that. But let's wrap it up today with this guy. I loathe him. You'll see why.
English fast. First, don't say, I have to go. Say, I gotta go, bitch.
Don't say that.
Second, don't say, do you want to dance? Say, wanna dance, ho?
No, don't do that. Now, wanna instead of want to, that's fine. But don't call anyone a hoe.
Third, don't say, what do you think? Say, what you think, motherfucker? And last, don't say, how did you like it? Say, how'd you like it?
That's the only one that I think is okay. How'd you like it? That's fine. That shows how native English speakers might kind of smash some words together and it sounds more natural. But this guy posts the most outlandish and offensive content that I have ever seen. It's absolutely awful. And I have no problem with swearing. When I'm not on camera or with a student, I drop the F-bomb and say bad words all the time. My husband gets quite offended by it. But the way that he teaches that people should be saying these phrases instead, it's completely inappropriate. It's not okay. Now, is it good to know what some of these phrases mean? Yeah, because you'll probably hear them in movies, music, or video games, but you really should not be using these kinds of phrases. Don't call people hoes and bitches and all that kind of stuff. It's completely inappropriate. Just don't. However, if you do want to learn some scandalous vocabulary in a useful way, I highly recommend Study English with JJ. So not only is he an IELTS teacher, so most of his page consists of really useful and also quite entertaining IELTS vocabulary, grammar, tips, everything IELTS related. He teaches this kind of vocab in a way that's actually very, very useful. I love this series that he has called Dirty, Dangerous Phrasal Verbs because there are a lot of phrasal verbs in English that have a very neutral meaning and then another dirty meaning, if you know what I mean. So let's check out a few of them. I don't think I can do all of them though, because I might get demonetized. They're quite scandalous.
And dangerous phrasal verbs. Spend the night, sleep at someone's home. Spend the night with, have sex. Get around, take an alternate route. He or she really gets around, has sex with many different people.
So this is really useful to know because let's say you and your friends went to visit a new city. If you say, my friends and I got around the city very easily, that would mean you had good, easy transportation, you didn't get lost, fantastic. But if you say, when my friends and I were in the city, we really got around, that has a very different meaning. Let's watch another one.
Suck at, to be really terrible at something. Suck off. Make up, repair a broken relationship. Make out, kiss.
Yep, different meaning. Let's say you have an argument with your mother. You need to make up with your mother. Don't say you need to make out with your mother. Ew. Please don't. Also, this is not just one little kiss. This is lots of kissing. So you really don't want to say make out with your mother.
Beat up, fight someone and win. Beat off, masturbate.
And I don't think I can show the other ones because I will get demonetized. So, what are your thoughts on English education content on Instagram and TikTok? Have you found them to be useful in helping you along your English learning journey? Or have you come across a lot of misinformation and lies? Do they help you feel confident in your English abilities? Or do they maybe bring you down a little bit? Whatever your feelings are, comment below and tell us about the craziest English Instagram or TikTok post that you've seen. So if you found today's video helpful, make sure you're subscribed for more content. And if you enjoyed today's Instagram reactions video, make sure to give it a thumbs up so that I know to do more just like it, because I have been compiling a big ol' list of posts that are absolutely ridiculous. And I would love to show why they might not be helping you along your English learning journey. So make sure to stay a little bit skeptical of what you see online. Do a bit of extra research before you believe someone, and I will see you later. Bye.